keep this aisle available for the deities. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, if we could just create some space as our beautiful deities will be arriving in a few minutes.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody bolo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, may we please all rise and welcome our beautiful Shri Shri Radha Radhana deities.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, bolo bolo. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, and a very warm welcome once again to those of you that may have just joined us. A very warm welcome to you on the most auspicious day of Sri Radhashtami. So a humble request to all those of you that are standing in the foyer, please do come inside. There is space available for you to be seated. And also another very humble request, when we do bring down our drapes and our structure, please remain seated. We do know that you are very eager and enthusiastic to take out pictures of our spectacular display that's going to be unveiled shortly, but a humble request to each and every one of you to please be seated. So as many of you all do know, this year marks 40 years of Sri Sri Radha Radhanath's opening. And it is my absolute honor and privilege in calling forward His Grace Swarup Damodar Prabhu as he would like to address us on this very big benchmark of 40 years.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Shri Radhashtami Mahotsava ki, Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki. It's really wonderful to be back here at Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Temple. As some of you may know, I'm now based in Mumbai, India. Some service has called me there, which I'm very grateful for. But just the idea, the thought of missing Radhashtami in Durban was too overwhelming, so we had to come and share this day with you all. And also, knowing that there was going to be an amazing cake offering. And you know how all of us love cake. So I was inside for a few minutes taking out some pictures and being overwhelmed by this wonderful offering to Shri Radha Radhanath. And I was just thinking how Srila Prabhupada once on Radhashtami, actually the very first Radhashtami festival in 1966 in New York City, Srila Prabhupada said that on Janmashtami, we have to fast until midnight. Because Krishna is very strong and hard. But on Radhashtami, we only have to fast till midday because she is very soft and kind. And after looking at all the cakes, I'm so grateful because otherwise the rest of the day I'll be thinking about cake. You know, cake. Yeah, it's really wonderful. I look forward to all of you all being overwhelmed by the mercy, the remnants of Shri Shri Radha Radhanath in a few minutes. We'll open in a few minutes. But before that, I wanted to share with you all a very wonderful opportunity. Of course, as Gopeshwari Mataji just mentioned, 2025 marks the 40th anniversary of the installation of Shri Shri Radha Radhanath, deities, Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada, and of course the opening of this iconic, magnificent temple, the Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Temple of Understanding. I'm not sure if any of you here today, I can see some faces, so yeah, definitely some of you were here in October 1985. You would recollect, and you have it sort of indelibly cemented in your heart, the whole experience of those 3 days. I think it was 18th, 19th, and 20th of October. I wasn't here myself, but I always envy those devotees that were here and how much of pride and excitement they speak about their experience at that opening. So it must have been really something, really something. I heard stories of how for a couple of kilometers down Higginson Highway, cars were parked. You know how sometimes we get annoyed with the guard at the car park, we can't get into the parking? Can you imagine in October 85? People were so eager to come that not being able to park in the premises wasn't a deterrent at all. They were prepared to park on Higginson for a couple of kilometers. So that was the fervor that happened on that over those 3 days. So in a humble attempt to recapture even a fraction of that experience, the temple management headed by His Grace Deva Prabhu are attempting a wonderful 3-day festival in October, 10th, 11th, and 12th of October. It's right at the start of Kartik, so it's a more merciful experience. So they want to recreate a wonderful experience for everyone who was there and who wasn't there in 85. And part of that experience is that we want to take something back with us. We just don't want to have, you know how memories are failing? I can't even remember, well, I can remember what I had for breakfast yesterday because it's the best breakfast of the week at Radhanath Temple, Jai Sachinand Prabhu's soup and bread. But on Friday, I can't remember what I had. So we forget so easily. But to help us capture these samskaras, these impressions, these very spiritual, transcendental impressions into our heart, the temple management has arranged a wonderful souvenir that everyone can have the opportunity to buy and keep in your homes, keep in your hearts, keep in your altar, and be reminded in this beautiful, this very ornate way about the mercy of Shri Shri Radha Radhanath in our lives. So it's a beautiful souvenir coin that the temple management has designed, I think in India. Is it India? In India. And even the box, pictures of the box, even that seems to be a collector's item. So please, let's not get forgetful about the mercy of Shri Shri Radha Radhanath in our lives. Let's capture these coins. Let's take it as soon as it becomes available. I understand that you can make bookings today and over the next few weeks, but they'll only be released around the 10th or 11th or 12th of October. You can see the coins on the big screen there. Actually, that's the box, the outside of the box. And at the bottom, the 3 circles at the bottom are what the coins look like. They are bronze, silver, and gold coins, and with the corresponding prices connected to it. But don't mind the prices. The main thing is keeping the whole experience of Shri Shri Radha Radhanath's opening and this 40th anniversary of their opening in our hearts. So thank you very much. All glories to Shri Shri Radha Radhanath. Shri Radhashtami Mahotsava Ki. And are we ready? One second. I wonder if Maharaj would want to say anything, Maharaj, about your experience. Deva, does Maharaj want to say anything to the devotees about what this is? You can say the same thing. Just sit over here.
You want to? Sort of plow in. Srimati Radharani Ke. Srimati Radharani Ke. Srimati Radharani Ke. Well, devotees, what an occasion. What an amazing occasion. You know what has happened is about 120 devotees have baked approximately, well, at least 150, between 150 and 200 cakes, plus about 400 cupcakes and other little sweet items, which have all been offered here. They've been offered to Shri Shri Radha Radhanath. So it's just an amazing and wonderful program, just such a wonderful program that devotees get the opportunity, with all the devotion in their hearts, to make these wonderful offerings to the mother of devotion, Srimati Radharani. And you can be sure if you are one of those devotees, she was watching you because you know she is the queen of the kitchen. So even if your kitchen is not, nothing particularly special, but she's there. She's there when you're cooking for Krishna. She's overseeing what you do and oftentimes giving some mercy through your heart. So, an interesting question would be that if this year we had 120, how many will there be next year? But having just spent the last so many minutes inside and looking at all these cakes, they are just the sincerity, the love, the devotion, and the expertise which has gone into them. It is absolutely outstanding. And this is Krishna consciousness. Or I should say, this is Srimati Radharani consciousness. Srimati Radharani is extremely merciful. And you may have heard us say that sometimes there's some devotee who just does something, a little bit of service here and there, just a little bit of service, and not of a high standard, and even the consciousness may not be that high. But Radharani is so merciful that when she sees that here's a devotee doing something for my Krishna, she becomes so happy, she becomes overwhelmed, and she thinks, what a nice devotee. And she tells Krishna, look, Krishna, you see this devotee here? This devotee's name is, fill in the blank, but maybe your name. At least the 120 who made the cakes, etc., their names are there. You see this devotee? This is a wonderful devotee, Krishna, and I want you to accept this devotee, Krishna. And Lord Krishna, because whatever Radharani asks from him, he immediately fulfills her desire. So Krishna says, yes, 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 and he accepts you. And that's that. When Krishna accepts you, basically, you're just right on your way back home, back to Godhead. And Prabhupada, in making this point that I've just mentioned, Srila Prabhupada says, you may not be very advanced devotee. And you know what Prabhupada actually says? Prabhupada says, actually, you might be fool and rascal number one. Ah, Krishna. But if Radharani sees that you do something nice for her, Krishna, she gives her mercy to you, and then you get, on her request, you get accepted by Krishna. So therefore, well, you'll see now, what an outstanding offering. It's just practically, literally out of this world. But this should be our attitude. This should be our attitude, that who am I? I'm just a very small person, but Srimati Radharani is there. And if I do some service for Krishna, and I ask Radharani, can you please offer this on my behalf to Krishna? And she'll do it, and you'll get the mercy. So that's what Radhashtami, that's what Srimati Radharani is all about. Mercy, great mercy in devotional service. So let's all remember this today and just meditate on this today and take part in all the programs. And if we do so very nicely, then by the time the program finishes this evening, we'll all be transformed persons, really greatly improved persons by the mercy of Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani ke. Srimati Radharani ke. Srimati Radharani ke. Shri Radhashtami Mahotsava ke. Shri Radhashtami Mahotsava ke. Shri Radhashtami Mahotsava ke.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna.
A humble request to please remain seated. You all will have the opportunity to take out pictures in a little while. Please, everyone, to remain seated. Those of you that are in the foyer, please do come into the temple room. There are seats available. A humble request to each and every one of you to please come into the temple
Hare
room.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, what a beautiful, breathtaking and stunning display of cakes, sweets and treats for the pleasure of Srimati Radharani. Absolutely amazing. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Ji ki Jai. Maharaj gave a beautiful class this morning and he spoke about Astasakis. And if we look at this beautiful display that we have out here, it's actually a theme of Vrindavan. We have the Astasakis. We even have the pastime of Srimati Radharani, where we're all very familiar when she had the conversation with the bumblebee. We have a beautiful bumblebee up there, and all these beautiful, stunning treats and displays by a very talented, enthusiastic, and hardworking team of Matajis. So let's give them a huge round of applause. Nitya Manjari Mataji and her team, absolutely well done. It's breathtaking. So let's give them one more round of applause. So we are going to be taking the deities down to the main marquee for the rest of the program. A very humble request for us to do this in a very orderly fashion because it can become quite difficult as we all are stepping out. So if we can do it in little sections at a time, the people that are closest to the entrance, if you all can exit first, and just like that, we'll do it in stages. As you see that you are able to have space to leave, then we can do that in stages. That will assist even the old people as well. Please be seated for now. The deities have not left the temple room yet. And we do request that you join us and you stay with us for the rest of the program. We have classes by His Holiness Brihat Bhagavat Swami Maharaj. His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj will also be giving classes later on. So please do stay with us. It's a whole day program.